Hello guys, this is Dr. Kham. I have been noticing for the past 2 weeks so much unrest throughout the nation, not just the nation, throughout the world. It is as if that the coronavirus outbreak is not sufficient enough to cause all the problems and difficulties that we are facing. Now we are seeing the unrest because of the racial injustice. Well, the way George Floyd was killed. I mean, that's really something that I can't imagine. I just can't understand how someone, it doesn't matter even if that other person is a criminal, let us say, I just can't understand how police could act so brutally and kill another human being. It is just, I just, when I watched the video, I just had no words to explain the painful feeling that I was experiencing at the time. And for almost 2 weeks, I thought that I need to say something about this, but I am just not sure what to say, how to say it. The way that I could, make sense of all these things that are going on and still how to find a solution for the racial injustice, the racial discrimination. Not just that, but that act was a blow to humanity. Like, no human being should kill another human being, and no human being should be applying such brute force on someone who was saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. So, where does this racism come from? What is its origin? What I say is, it comes from ignorance of our true nature as human beings. Whether it is racial supremacy, whether it is economic supremacy, or any other form of superiority complex, that I am better and you are not, that all comes from ignorance of who we are really as human beings. Let me expand on that a little bit. So whether it is racial supremacy or it is economic supremacy, like, the rich over the poor, trying to take advantage of them, or any kind of dominance where one sect of population is trying to dominate over other people, other sects, other sections of the population, it all comes from the ego's desire to say that, hey, look, I am better than you, I am superior than you. It is ego talking. And what I say is, ego is a root cause for all the discrepancies, the discriminations, and the injustice, the unfairness, and all the problems that we are seeing in the world. And to really solve this racial discrimination problem, right, we really need to get to the core of the problem. Just simple political activism is not going to solve this problem. It may help. It may help, getting the attention that is needed from the leaders, from the influencers, but it is just going to cover up the racism, not actually solve the problem, not actually uproot the problem completely. To uproot the problem completely, we do need to look into the nature of human beings and the nature of ego, why it causes this superiority complex. And that is what I want to focus on. When it comes to fighting racism, I totally advocate for the nonviolent philosophy proposed by and demonstrated by Mahatma Gandhi and was upheld by Martin Luther King. And in their footsteps, we should follow. Is it important to protest the injustice and the crime caused by the brutal police officer against George Floyd? Yes, but is it necessary to cause violence in this process? No. Is it important to get all the attention that is needed from the politicians and from the decision makers to fight the police brutality against George Floyd, who was pleading that I can't breathe, let it go, I can't breathe, let it go? Is it important to fight against that? Is it important to get the attention needed to fight this injustice? Yes. Should police brutality end? Yes. Will the problem be solved by killing other people and destroying other people's properties? No. It's because force will be met with force and violence will be met with violence. That is how we human beings are. It is a natural response for all of us to retaliate when something bad happens. And this is ingrained into our human nature for eons. For example, we are seeing now white lives matter, police lives matter, blue lives matter, and all these kinds of different movements against black lives matter. That is what happens. If people resort to violence, and other people will start similar movements, and soon this is going to lead to civil war. And we don't want that, right? So what I would say is non-violence is a better way, because non-violence will often be met with non-violence, especially if such a huge cause that we are fighting for. I think it is important to stay non-violent, be organized, think smartly, so that we can get the change that we all need. And I'm so happy to see just it is not the black Americans on the street protesting, but there are a number of white Americans who are helping them. I mean, that's so awesome, isn't it? Okay. Let's follow the footsteps of great people like Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King. Otherwise, we may inadvertently damage our fellow brothers and sisters. It's already happening. Crime and violence has spiked significantly. 17 people died since the beginning of the protests the past 2 weeks. So we are talking about one person dying each day. While there are wonderful people doing their protests peacefully, there is a small section of the population who wants to cause violence. And we are seeing a lot of riots. There is looting going on because they are taking advantage of the situation where police are busy helping the peaceful protesters, and people are taking advantage of it, like bad people, the criminals. So actually a news article recently showed that Chicago saw its deadliest day in 30 years. On May 31st, there were 18 killings. I mean, that is a sudden spike in the number of actual, killings that happen in Chicago. That is a sudden spike. And I don't know 100% the details of it, but I'll be happy to share with you the articles. We could do more research on that, why exactly that happened. But my belief is that because the police were busy dealing with the protests and riots, these criminals who are waiting for an opportunity are looting and killing other people in the process. We don't want that. Okay. Now let us consider not only the damage caused by destruction of their properties, looting, killing people, during these very difficult times of unrest. Also remember, coronavirus is still out there. And we have seen a spike in the number of coronavirus outbreaks because people are now together in large gatherings, and most of them, unfortunately, at least as I saw on TV, were not wearing these masks, not maintaining social distancing. I'm afraid a lot of people are going to die because of coronavirus outbreaks. We all need to be smart and wise in what we do during these very difficult times. The whole nation, the whole world is in great turmoil. We have not seen anything like this in the past 50, 60 years. And we need to be wise. We need to be smart in what we do now. Otherwise, we will not only endanger other people's lives, but also we are going to endanger our own lives. You protesters, I'm talking to you. It is okay to protest. I have no problem with it. I'm with you. Maintain social distancing. Make sure that you're wearing masks. So the question that we need to ask ourselves is, how do we solve this problem of injustice, unfairness, without causing further damage, without putting our own lives at risk, without putting other people's lives at risk, whether black or white? Here are some basic rules that all people should follow while protesting. I believe our protest should be against injustice, discrimination, and violence of all sorts, no matter what the cause is. Then what happens is more people are going to join this cause, this movement, to help you. I advocate for political activism, but I also say that it should come from a place of calm and wisdom within. What I call is calm political activism is needed. Let's take the example. Let's follow the footsteps of Martin Luther King. We need leaders like that to lead this movement. Otherwise, what happens is bad people out there, opportunists, they are going to hijack this good cause and turn it into something that benefits them, not the people. We need to make sure that our protest is not against all policemen, but actually those people specifically who are racist, and we should end police brutality. Thanks for watching.